record for you.
No
And that
worries.
way I can send it across to you. So have you had a bit of a think about what sort of things... Hang on, just bear with me a second. I'm just going to turn the radio off. Just one second.
I can make it.
Background noise. So have you had a bit of a think about stuff that you might get asked from, or what you think might be questions you get asked from owners?
Not specific, because I haven't really gone out to actually show anyone yet. I did speak with an accountant this morning about the concept. He thought it was a great idea.
Yep.
He had somebody he knows, one of his developer clients, that just spent 95 grand in commissions on a sale, but didn't seem to be very happy with the auction. But anyway, that's just one of those things. He thought the idea, the concept of this type of a digital platform was a lot more comfortable, and he would definitely use it if he was selling his house. So there you go.
Yeah,
he's pretty conservative, mate, I tell you.
I ran an online meeting much like this, but with a few people from around Australia. So we got a lot of interest out of it last night, and I think whereas I've been sort of pushing for this now for a couple of years, I think the reality is agents are starting to understand that they need to do things a little bit differently, and we spoke about it yesterday. It's about offering value, and it's about us as agents saying, what, the landscape's changed somewhat. What people expect from us has changed substantially, and we need to start, rather than just, I think for a long time we've just relied on the fact that people just assume they have to use us, and as more and more options come up and there's more opportunities for people to choose alternatives to us, then it becomes our responsibility to address that. And it becomes our responsibility to say, well, if we want to be in this business and we want to be professional salespeople, then we better damn well prove that we're worth the money that we're asking.
Yeah. Well, everything's under pressure, isn't it, Dave?
Well, it is.
Everything's under pressure. If you can't show point of difference, as you pointed out on that, that client you just picked up, man, the next best thing is that you're going to get thumped by the fees.
Yeah.
Downwards.
And look, I was speaking to, I had a phone call a couple of days ago now, a guy from a company called PiLab, and they're a venture capital company based here in Australia. And they
Chris Rolls.
Yes, him. Yeah, well, I spoke to his offsider. Didn't actually speak to Chris, but I spoke to his offsider, and he said that there is an unimaginable amount of money being pumped into real estate-based technology at the moment in both America, Australia, and New Zealand. But the vast majority of that money is aimed at usurping agents as the central point. There's a lot of people out there that firmly believe that agents are no longer necessary to the sales campaign. And look, I don't subscribe to that, Michael. I think at the end of the day, we leave people to negotiate on hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of assets. I think a lot of people are going to cost themselves, substantial amounts of money. And I think, from 20 years of real estate experience, I think we do get better results for our clients. And, a lot of that is knowing when to say yes and when to say no, and how to create competition, how to create that sense of urgency. So I don't think the right move is to try and take us out of the equation. I think it comes back to us as an industry where we've got to step up to the plate and say, well, let's do things a little bit differently. Let's think outside the box a little bit. And you'll be surprised when you're dealing with clients out there or prospective buyers, and you just touched on it yourself with that developer. Most people look at it as a really good idea and a natural progression. And the comment that I get more often than anything else is, well, why the hell isn't everyone doing this?
Mate, and that's quite an obvious question. I don't know. Agents get trapped and, they get, they got those blinkers on, mate. And it's an industry that seems to be very reluctant to change. I don't know whether it's at the real estate institute levels, or it comes right from the top. I'm not sure. It's an unusual business.
It is. Did you have a bit of a play with the demo site?
Mate, I have.
How'd you go with that?
Let's have a look, Dave. Is this the one you gave me the other day where I was playing around with it with the buyer-sellers? And I didn't do anything last night, Dave, but only when obviously online. That's the only time I've actually used it.
Okay.
you gave me that little dummy kind of, buyer seller.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll show you a really, really quick way to do it. Just bear with me a sec while I pull up a share screen.
Which I think is what you used to go out just to demo it to people. Is that what you're using, the same thing?
Yep. So can you see my screen?
Yes, I can, yes. Yeah.
So this is the demo screen. It's really quite easy. You can set it up like this. So, and this is what I'll often do with owners, where I've got all three screens. So I've got a vendor screen. I've got two buyer screens. This one defaults back to a buyer screen where you've got to go through the registration. This one is already pre-registered. So what I'll often do is I'll go into people and say, and this is the simple way to do it. And I'll go into people and say, if I've got my laptop with me, I'll show you how this works. So I'll put in a password, just a really simple password. I'll go through the registration. Somehow they've got to check the box to register. And that buyer is now registered. We've got 14 seconds until the sale starts. Obviously, I run through and I explain to them that on this demonstration, I've got a reserve of 500 preset, and that, I would expect them to make an offer prior, under that $500,000 mark, so that they can see how the whole process works. I would generally set up the people that I'm working with, the Jones family, the people that I go through the registration. I'd set them up as buyer one, and I'd get them to put an offer in of, say, $470,000. I show them how, when they place the offer, it is a two-step verification, so that people have to verify their offer to make sure that they're not making, they haven't put in like 4.7 million or something by mistake. Once they submit their offer, you'll see that this will update across all screens. If you're impatient, like I sometimes am in an appraisal, you can just hit the refresh button, and it'll update the offer there. We also show them how the contracts and Section 32s are downloadable. So they're just on PDFs that they can download. They're just sample contracts. And that every time an offer is made, it resets the timer. So because this is just a demo, it resets the timer to 2 minutes, but they can see across all screens, that's the owner screen, they can see across all screens how those offers show up. These people, and also you've got the red light to show that it hasn't hit reserve. These people say, you know what, I'll make a $490,000 offer. The password for Edna, because I've set up this buyer, preset her up, her password is preset as possums. That just makes it easy, so I don't have to go through lots of registrations, and you can just refresh each page if you don't want to wait for it to automatically refresh. And they get that physical chance to see how the sale works, and they can see that each offer just comes in above the other one. We've also got each buyer has a little U next to them, so that they don't get confused with whose offers who. They can always see which one's their offer. I would then get these people generally to go in and put a $510,000 offer in, so we can see what it looks like when it goes over reserve. And you can see from here that the light automatically goes green. Now that's a really, really simple way to do a demonstration, and you can do it in this format where you've just got a screen in front of them, and I would do that if I didn't have a vendor that was getting their emails on their phone, or didn't have access to emails straight away. You can just do that and show them all three screens. The way that I do it in most cases, is I would actually customize a demonstration process for them. And with the one that I did over in Croydon, that was the big one. I put one of the owners in as the seller. I put one of the owners in as a buyer, and I put myself in as the other buyer. And then I can select different real estate agencies. So I can either have Market Share Property, which is my agency. I can have the two generic ones, or the casual offers, which just goes through to this generic market buy page. And if I do it this way, Michael, they get each of the emails. So they actually physically get the real life experience of what it's like to be a buyer and a seller. They'd get exactly the same emails they would get in a live sale. If I want to, I can go through and customize the timing and the pricing, so I can change the minutes between offers, I can change the reserve, I can change the minimum amount. But from a practical point of view, I don't do that because I've set that up to stuff that works really, really well. 15 minutes for the first offer, 2 minutes reset every time an offer is made. So there's no real need for me to go and change that in most cases, and I find it just works pretty well. And I've got so used to saying to people that it's a demonstration with a reserve of 500. I reckon if I went stuffing around with that, I'd probably trip over myself anyway. So look, that's a really, really simple way to show people how the process works.
Yeah. That's simple.
Yeah. And look, I set it up to make sure that, as I said, even my 10-year-old son could use it. This also shows the sales end, and you can really demonstrate to them that it works just as well on a phone. So all the information is exactly the same on a phone. You've got the list of offers, the photos, the documents that you can download, works on a tablet, works on a laptop, and it just shows them that it does work across all devices. And it's not specific to like an app. I'm not a big fan of apps because you've got to have different ones for Android and different ones for Apple. And if you make any changes, you've got to go through and do substantial updates to the architecture of the different ones. And then you've got to have a standalone website for people that don't have smartphones. And it's convoluted and it's difficult. And, apps work best for stuff that you use every day, things like, even realestate.com, but apps aren't really the best bet or the best go-to if you're using it as a single use site. And most people aren't buying properties every single day.
No.
Most buyers won't. If they downloaded your app, they download it once, buy a property, and then forget about it. So it's not the right way to go.
Excellent. Okay. In terms of the documentation, do I upload documents, or is there some?
Okay, so this is the back end, just to show you what the back end of the site looks like.
Right.
This is how you add a for sale item. So you add a for sale item, and it's just that simple. You put a start date in, the minutes for the first offer. So when I open a sale, I'll open a sale at 5 o'clock.
Is this on a weekday or what?
Yeah, I tend to do Mondays because I run all my open for inspections. And then I say to people after the third open for inspection, we're going to run this property to sale at 5 o'clock. But one of the big things about this site is I've made it really, really flexible. You might find a Saturday afternoon works best for you. You might find a Friday works best. Like, I reckon that's up to individual agents to determine when the best date for their sale is.
It doesn't really matter anyway, mate, if the buyers are serious though.
Yeah, look, my experience is Monday at 5 o'clock works really well.
You start up? Yeah, okay.
Yep. But there's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
And I'll say 5 hours to start the offer off, and that's 5 hours for people to put in their first offer. Now, having said that, the vast majority of my offers come in within the first 10 minutes of the sale opening because people are waiting for this sale to open. They're waiting for it to click over to an active sale. Yeah. So they're generally fairly keen to get going. I will then have minutes for all subsequent offers. Now, I've found the best for that is 30 minutes. So each time an offer is made, it resets the timer by 30 minutes. But once again, that's variable. I've tried to make sure that everything is variable so that if you find that 30 minutes is not enough in your market and 45 is going to be better, then you can make those decisions on a sale-by-sale basis. Finish time, I don't tend to put a finish time in. At the end of the day, most of our sales finish up within sort of 12 hours of starting. In most cases, you sort of 2 or 3 hours. So I don't think it necessarily needs a finish time. Reserve amount, obviously we've got to put a reserve in there. That's what dictates the green light, red light. Minimum bid, we don't want people making dollar bids. I generally have $500 as a minimum bid, but once again, that's customizable on a sale-by-sale process. Deposit. Now, that's the amount of money that comes off the credit card when the person wins the sale. Mm-hmm. That $1,000 has been a really good amount for us. We tried $2,000 and we found we had issues because not everyone's got $2,000 available on a credit card. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we ran into credit cards that were knocked back, but we found that we haven't had an issue with anyone having $1,000. I think most people have at least $1,000 on a credit card, particularly if they're out buying a property. But mate, that's once again, that's customizable. You can make that $500, $200, $1,000, whatever works best in your market. This is where we have conditions. So you decide at the start of this, when you're setting up the sale, what conditions you'll allow. You can have both building and pest and finance. So you can have both conditions available. You can have only building and pest conditions, only finance, or no conditional offers at all. And we can remove any reference to any conditions. And I think, once again, that works on a sale-by-sale basis, because I'll give you a really good example of that. If I'm dealing with first home buyers in Australia, first home buyers invariably need to buy subject to finance for 7 days, because their loan will be conditional on a satisfactory valuation from the bank, insofar as that they won't get, even though they might have pre-approval, they won't get that final approval until the banks come through and satisfied themselves they haven't paid $100,000 too much for the house. And if I don't have or don't allow finance conditions, then I'm going to cut out a good 60 to 70% of my first home buyers, which obviously will have an impact on the level of competition I can create and the level of, or the number of buyers who are going to actively fight for the property. So, I'll often allow conditions. If I've got something at $1 million, then it's going to be an unconditional sale. Because, most of those people don't have that same sort of requirement. And that's where I reckon it's really important that we've got that flexibility to do it on a sale by sale basis and decide what's going to work best for that particular property. Notification, that's just where we set up the listing agent. So the listing agent is the person that gets all the agent notifications. Title, I put the address in, so it shows up on a sale as the address of the property. Brief description, I don't tend to write much in that. It's really just you can write whatever you want, little blurb about the sale, little blurb about the house. Room counts, that's bedroom numbers, bathroom numbers, how many car parking it's got. We can upload up to 15 photos, so every time you upload a new photo, it'll just add it along there. I generally put in 4 or 5 photos and a floor plan, and this is where we add our contracts, which are just PDFs. So, and that's for my site. Obviously, you don't have Section 32s in New Zealand, so that would be whatever documentation you need to upload to, for your sales documents. And we just add them. It's just a matter of just, adding it, searching wherever you keep it. I keep my stuff on a server, so I just search through my server, title it, whatever it is, and then just upload it, and then it appears on the site as a downloadable PDF. And then once you've done all that, you create for sale item, and then you can start adding purchasers, vendors, agents, whatever the need be. But it's set up so that the child can put it together. It's a really, really simple to use, follow your nose type system.
With the conditions, David, can you customize those conditions?
Yeah, we can. Steve's done a lot of customization on the conditions for New Zealand. So I would have to go back and track down his actual conditions, but there are absolutely those conditions are my conditions. So yes,
I think I would just copy exactly what he's done, because he's already been down that track. So it's just a matter of duplication.
Yeah, exactly right. I don't know if I've got that. So
that's his one, yeah.
Yeah, that's his one. It doesn't have the conditions on it, but he has done a fair bit of work as far as the conditions go. So he's set up conditions that are specific to New Zealand. But yeah, if the conditions that he's set up aren't suitable, then absolutely we can customize those for whatever you need them to be.
Okay. What else should I know, Dave?
Yeah, look, I mean, from your point of view, it's really just a matter of what's Mark Doyle.
Excuse me, mate, I just quickly.
Yeah, you're right. Grab that.
Hi, Sweet. Oh. Hi, Sweet. How are you? Can I ring you back? Thank you, mate. Sorry about that, David. Dropping stuff all over the place. Yeah, apologies.
No, you're right. So really, what you I guess what you need to do is get someone to agree to it. sell it.
Yeah, that's right. I just want to. I like it as a listing tool, Dave. That's what I'm saying. I want to come in with a different angle.
Yeah.
Instead of going in there and giving the old egocentric, bloody driven spiel, which I'm over, which I don't do these days. I'm always keen to find out what they're up to and what they want to do and how they wish to go about things.
All right. So how I'd approach that with an owner, I'll sit down with an owner and I'll say to them, look, you've obviously had a couple of agents through. How have you found that? And the general response. Well, you be the owner for a sec. I say, oh, Michael, it's great to have a chat to you. Thanks for showing me around your property. You've had a few agents through. How have you found the process so far?
Pretty daunting, David. I've had a couple here. They've given me quite a bit of a spiel so it's a long process.
What in your discussions with those agents? What's been the standout thing that you think would make you choose them? Has there been anything that has really grabbed you, or really grabbed your attention and made you think, I reckon this is the guy for my property?
They're pretty much the same, really, Dave. Yeah. Nothing too different between them. I think it all gets down to whether the personality suits me and whether that agency can do the job for me, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and look, I find that a lot when talking to people, and I think real estate has gone through a real evolution over the past couple of years. And one of the things that I'm really finding in my discussions with owners is they're really looking for that competitive edge. They're looking for something in a crowded marketplace, in an area where everyone's shouting from the rooftops that their property is the best and theirs is the one that's going to attract all the buyer attention. I find that owners really want to find something that makes theirs stand out. Like from an owner's perspective, I'd imagine that, if everyone's telling you that they can do the same level of customer service, if everyone's telling you they can upload to the same portals, if we're all effectively using the same photographers, it would be a really good idea, in my view, if we could find something that makes your property really stand out. Would you agree with that?
I agree.
And one of the things I think has been lacking in the real estate industry, I think for the most part, there's been a massive amount of attention or concentration on the owners. And I think what's been lost in all of this information is it really takes two people to make a process work. And I think what agents are not admitting, and what they're scared to admit even to themselves, is buyers don't like us. Buyers don't believe a thing we say to them. I mean, in your dealings with agents, have you ever had dealings as a buyer with an agent?
Yes.
How have your dealings been? Do you believe everything an agent tells you?
No.
No. And are you quite guarded in the information that you give them?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I reckon we've got to pay close attention to, because in any sales process, the best results that we can get is if we remove barriers. If we create a sense of confidence and we create a sense of openness, then buyers will tend to engage and interact with us in a much more open manner. And one of the things that I think has been really impactful on sale prices is, in a lot of cases, agents aren't actually helping the sales process. I think in a lot of cases they're an impediment to the sale process. I think a lot of cases buyers throw up a lot of barriers and a lot of walls, and at the end of the day, they're very much concerned about the information being told. And I'm sure you've probably heard it, Michael. You go and have a look at a property, there's a bit of interest in it, and I tell you that there's 4 other people that want to buy it. What's your initial reaction to that?
I'd be skeptical.
Exactly. What if we could show you a way where not only can we prove to the buyers that there's interest in the property, but we can physically show them what each offer is as it comes in. And we can do that in a really closed environment that not only protects the integrity of your sale, but allows those buyers an openness and a transparency so that we can remove ourselves as a barrier to the sale, and we can give those buyers free rein just to fight amongst themselves. Would you think that'd be a good idea for your property?
Absolutely.
All right. Have you got 5 minutes? If you've got access to your emails and you can get them on your phone, or you can get them on a laptop or an iPad, I can do a really, really quick demonstration for you. And I can show you a very easy and very effective way to build competition, and not only build competition, but build competition that creates confidence amongst your buyers that all they're competing against is each other. They're not competing against a salesperson. They don't have to second guess what a salesperson says to them. And if we can give them that freedom, I'm sure you'll agree, that can only benefit the end sale price of your property.
That's right, mate. Yeah.
Then I go through a demo, and it's just open-ended questions, Michael. It's just, would you agree? I rely on the fact that most vendors have a very skeptical view of an agent. I rely on the fact that when you ask them, I think agents spend so much time going, you know what, I'm the good guy. Like everyone else is a thief and everyone else is a crook, but I'm the one that you can trust. I'm the guy that you can trust with my property. I think if we just put the elephant in the room on the table and say to them, you know what, we know buyers don't like us. We know that they don't believe a word we say. Rather than trying to convince you as a vendor that I'm that one shining light in the real estate industry that every buyer is going to trust, let's just call a spade and just say, look, we know they don't trust us, so let's give them a process and a format that allows them to trust the process. We don't expect to change consumer habits. We don't expect that they're going to love us from the moment they meet us. We don't expect that we're such a shining light of personality that we're going to be able to change all the buyers' attitudes to real estate agents overnight. But what we do have is software and tools at our disposal that says, you know what, you don't trust us? You don't believe what we say? How about we give you that transparency and that openness, and let's just let you fight it out amongst yourselves. From a vendor's point of view, like that just makes sense. And you're just reaffirming what they already believe. You're not trying to argue a point. You're not trying to change their point of view. You're saying, like, it is what it is, what your initial beliefs are. And it also is just a reaffirming type of an approach where, from their point of view, you can say to them, I agree with you. I'm not going to try and tell you that we're not akin to used car salesmen. I'm not going to try and change your opinion of what we do and how we do it. What I'm going to say to you is we agree with it, but we've found a way around it, and we've found a way to give people, the confidence that they need, so that the only thing that they're going to be considering is price and how much they want it. We don't want them going home and saying, he told us there was 4 offers on it. I reckon he's full of shit. Or I don't think there's that much interest. And what happens if don't all agents say that? Every property I've been to in the last 6 weeks, every agent at the open for inspection or at the private inspection has told me that 3 people want to buy it. They can't all be telling the truth. And if we can just remove that as a barrier and just say to them, well, you don't have to believe us. You can just do it yourself. Like, you can just see for yourself.
Yeah, that happened today. I think the guy that sold his $2 million property, a developer, the agent did say that they had 8 buyers, but when the auction actually happened,
just
funny enough, no.
Sorry, just 1 sec, mate. Just 1 sec.
Yeah.
Hang on a call. Sorry, Michael.
All right, mate.
Yeah, so you're saying that happened to you today?
Oh, well, the story was told today. Yeah, he said he had 8. There was 8 bidders, and not one put their hand up at the auction.
Yep.
And in fact, a lady he introduced the property because it was under agency agreement. Harcourts, I shouldn't say Harcourts. Well, anyway, the agency charged him $96,000 for the sale.
Yep.
And they didn't even introduce the buyer. So there you go. He wasn't very happy.
No, and I think it really comes down to that once again, that central tenant that like, we're going to charge them a lot of money, mate. Like, we're going to charge them a shit ton of money, whether it's 10 grand or 10 or 20 grand or 15 grand or even 8 grand, whatever the case may be. If we're going to charge them a substantial amount of money, then we want them to feel good about that. We want them to feel like they got something that they couldn't get elsewhere. And the world's changing quickly, because now, very, very quickly, they can find a lot of the stuff that we give them. They can now find that on their own without us. But if we can start to bring in tools, then once again, it does a whole heap of things. We reaffirm their original views, and we're not trying to change the world. We're just saying, look, we understand that, buyers have an issue with agent. We've got a really, really good way to get around that. That creates confidence, that creates engagement. It allows buyers to buy into the process of buying a property without any of this negativity. Sales is based very much on the amount. On the success is very dependent on just how much we can remove negativity from the process. Secondly, they can't do this themselves. They can't get it anywhere else. And once you've created a substantial point of difference along those lines, then you no longer have issues with, arguing about commission. People only argue commission if they can't find a difference elsewhere.
You're quite right. Yeah. In the absence of of no point of difference, price then becomes, the next line of attack is your fees.
Yeah, well, I mean, a really simple analogy of that is if you've got two Commodores and they look exactly the same, and you just and they drive the same, they've got the same engine, you're just going to buy the cheapest one.
That's right. Exactly right. That's just human nature, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you've got a Commodore and you've got a Porsche, well, you're going to spend $100,000 more on the Porsche because it's a better car, and it's a better car, and you see value in it, and that's just a really, really simple analogy, but that's essentially how it works.
So, mate, the 22 sales you've done, those clients, mate, I can see this being a real winner, eh?
Yeah.
It's obviously not going to appeal to everyone, but I think in terms of a listing tool, actually seeing it operate, it's going to be really important to make sure the owners are online in terms of their price and their expectation. But
I'm going to unplug you a sec. This is really interesting. Hang on a sec.
Okay.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, mate. Yeah.
All right. I'm talking to Michael. Michael's from New Zealand, and he's owns one agency.
Hi.
These are actually clients, mate.
We go around the back here.
Okay, can you see?
Yeah, gotcha. Hi.
These are actually clients of mine that ran an online sale. Michael's looking at taking a market client.
Okay.
I actually sold these people their settlements today. I actually sold their house through the online process. What'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
Nerve-wracking, but
yeah.
I think every option's
definitely nerve-wracking, but yeah, once it took off, it was magnificent.
Yeah.
So this is Nicola and Brendan, Michael.
Hi.
I can't see Michael. Where do I look?
No, unfortunately, I don't have a camera on the computer, but I can see you quite clearly. So I see David shattered your pie, which is really good.
Yeah.
Gee whiz, it's a tough gig, isn't it?
No, we did have 5 bidders, or 6. 6 bidders, though. That's pretty.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
May I ask you, when as a seller, and David obviously thought, well, you'd be sort of wondering a bit, because this is pretty new for this sort of industry. But as a seller, you'd be thinking, okay, you got nothing to lose, I suppose, and it's quite a low entry to get onto it. And did you have any sort of questions in your? Did you sort of think, well, we can't, did you sort of any reservations of going using?
Of course, I think when you take on something that's brand new, of course you get lots of questions.
Yeah.
Dave wasn't bad. He answered them. We did it, so
Yeah, that's right. And you sold.
Yeah, and we sold, and happily. Yeah.
And you found the process comfortable from your point of view. You could see the offers.
You know what? It was good looking on the phone.
And once we reached reserve, we were like, okay, we can relax now.
Yeah.
The wait in between bids was a bit nerve-wracking at the start because I was thinking after the first bid was our reserve.
Just to give you a background on that one, Michael, the reserve was 780,000. The first offer was 780,000, and the next offer didn't come in until like the 29-minute mark. Like it had a minute to go before the next offer.
45 seconds to go.
Yeah, 45 seconds to go before the next offer came in. And then it took off, like it went 40 grand over reserve. But it was a bit nerve-wracking, but that's just sales.
Yeah, that's it.
Went 48,000 over reserve.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Fantastic result.
I'm very happy.
So sitting at a screen and as opposed to sitting in an auction room, you felt a lot more comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I was just looking at my phone, mate.
Yeah. Wow.
No, we went together. We were in different places. And just...
Yeah.
Yeah, just checking my phone.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
That's pretty convenient, eh? That's just so easy.
Yeah, very easy. And I think it took away some of the usual auction
stuff.
you know, I don't know, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you recommended this to other sellers that you know, or anybody selling?
I don't know anybody selling.
Okay, but you would though, would you?
We talked about the process.
Yeah, we absolutely would do it again.
Yeah,
Like, no,
we'll do it the
no
next time.
problem.
Yeah, okay.
Except you're never going to sell it.
No.
Yeah. Oh no, that's no. It's good to see it from your perspective. Yeah, no, it's good to get that feedback. Certainly, as a seller, I think, and we, you know, I'll probably go out and I'll just try this with a few sellers that are looking to sell, and to see, you know, what we'll go from there. I guess until you try it and use it and get some results. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, no, it's worth it for us.
Cash runner?
Beautiful.
It's almost like I set that up, isn't it, Michael?
Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah, no, beautiful.
Exactly, that was so set up.
All right, I'll finish this off. I'll leave you guys with Lisa. I'll come and talk to you in a sec.
No worries, thank you. Is that your juice?
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
That's mate. That's incredible. Yeah, it's great. Oh, good. You set me up a beauty there, David. Well done.
Yeah, no, it's settlements today. They've walked in. As I said, it wasn't planned. I thought, well, they're here, and chuck them on. They'll probably kill me later for chucking them on screen, but
Yeah. What did Phil Taylor think of? Did he thought it was good? Do you think it was a goer?
yeah. Look, I've got to speak to him on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I've got a meeting, similar type of thing to what we're doing today. I've got to catch up with him on Tuesday and just go through it all and show him how the demo function works. You know, and from my point of view, the best way to do this is to do what I've done with this property that I've listed. You know, whereas I know that this is going to sale on the 26th of June. I've set it up. It'll be online as going to sale on the 26th of June. And that way it's just a process. Like, it's just a method of sale, if you like. And I think that's the best way to do it. Because what I've found with most people is that if we say, look, we've got this access to it, most agents, if they, just checking the photos, see if my photos have come in. They haven't yet. Most agents, if they say, yeah, look, we'd like to use it, and then someone comes in and says, you know, I'd like to make an offer, and another one says, I'd like to make an offer, and you've got two people that want to make an offer, most agents will just default back to what they're most comfortable with, and what they're most comfortable with is just to do it the way they've always done it. So you really need to set this up from the day that you list the property.
Mm-hmm. But you need at least one serious buyer to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you do, but it's the same as an auction. Like, if you go to run an auction and no one buys it, no one registers as a buyer, well, that also sends a really, really clear message back to your owners. You know, there's an issue there. You know, if you've got one buyer that registers and puts in an offer, then, you know, you've got the capacity to make a counter offer. And there's also that buy it now button, which will be done in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So, you know, there is, as long as you can generate at least one buyer for a property, this will work. But that's the same as any sale. Like,
that's right, mate. Yeah.
One buyer for a property, then the process is going to work. Whether it's through this or whether it's through any other system that you use, whether it's an auction or sale by fixed date or sale by set date or whatever you do, if you don't generate one buyer, well, nothing's going to work, is it?
No, that's right, mate. So, yeah, no, I do see this. Yeah, fantastic. I like the whole thing. I think it's great.
Yep. And look, doing that demonstration, as I say, it's an open website, marketbydemo.com. You can customize the demonstration, as I say, very easily. You just put in their email addresses and you can just start demonstration. You can choose which company you want to use. Obviously, Premier Properties and Red Blazer Real Estate are just by generic. I
can use those ones, David?
Yeah, absolutely. You can use my one. You click whichever one you want to use.
Oh, okay, mate. Yeah. I just need to go down and actually push this thing out a bit and see if I can get people to participate. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
and you know, we've got videos that you can use.
Would you be able to send me the link for the Market Buy demo? Is it Market Buy? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
The link you could email me, Dave.
So,
yeah. And Market Buy video. Okay. Yep. Cool. Yep. I can't actually hear it, but
you can't hear it.
I can see it, mate. Yeah.
I'll send you a link to that. But that's a 50-second video that you can use that just talks about its benefits to owners. But yeah, I mean, that's really, really simple to do. So
I'm going to start working on this the next 48 hours, David. I'm just going to push it out and see if I can grab some, new properties to list.
yeah, and once you get one under your belt, you'll never look back. And just from personal experience, I can tell you that it's one of those things that you just look at and you just go, well, I wish I'd been doing this 6 months ago.
Yeah.
All right, so there's those 2 links. That's Market by Demo, and that's the YouTube link to the video.
Thanks, mate.
You can save those and, use them as you need to.
Yeah. Now, you call this, what did you call it, a negotiating tool? No, what did you call it, David?
Online offer management.
Online offer management. I better write that down. Okay. Right. That's it, Dave. I think that's enough for me.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. I'm going to come back to you.
Yep.
I've got any more questions. I'm going to try and see if I can see what we can do with this.
Yeah, see, and have a chat to Steve as far as his conditions. If you need any changes to it, let me know. Obviously,
I'll just do a duplication of hers and just put my put branding in. Yeah.
Yeah, so he set his up as Ferguson Real Estate. So you just need to come back to me and let me know what you need as far as changes to that goes.
Otherwise, the rest of it can be the same. Yeah.
Or you can just use his page. But work that out with Steve. But you just let me know what I can do to make it easier for you, and we'll sort it out from there.
Mate, sounds good, Dave. Thanks so much for your time.
No worries at all, mate.
Have a good weekend.
I'll talk to you soon.
See you, mate. Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.